long as we're getting everybody excited about coming, that's all that matters to me.
Welcome to the Business and Pleasure of Flowers. We're your hosts, Vonda Lefevre
and Lori Wilson, and we believe that business and fun are a perfect combination. Kind of like us, Vonda.
Lori, we got a big deal going on here today.
We do. We have 3 big deals here, Vonda, and that's including you, because I think you're a big deal. You are a big deal.
AIFD members, right? I am sitting in the presence of 2 past presidents of AIFD.
Yes, we're in the presence of greatness, I think is what we would say.
Oh, there we
go. Royalty.
Okay. I'm happy to introduce Lori Novak, who is actually even a bigger deal, Lori, because she is a fellow of the Institute. And a lot of people don't know what a fellow of the Institute of AIFD is. She has received the Award of Distinguished Service to AIFD. And that's really for her extraordinary service and continual support of AIFD. And we have such amazing members in AIFD. But Lori, you are coordinating AIFD Symposium this year, not for the first time, not for the second time, for the 4th time. I'm not quite sure if that's like really admirable, or maybe you need to get your brain checked or something. I don't know.
I didn't know that.
I'm like, wow, that's just really something. So welcome, Lori Novak. I'm glad you're here and thanks for joining us.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
And you're glad to be doing this for the 4th time?
I am. I have a great partner in crime that I'm working with this year, and it's going really well. And it's always been a really great experience. So yeah, I am excited to do this again.
Good. Well, Frank Feysa, we're glad you joined us again, a past president. You did this in 2014. You were the symposium chair.
2014, yeah, in Chicago.
In Chicago. Okay. And Frank is Smithers Oasis design director and previously taught floral design classes at Ohio State University. He's very active in AIFD, has given so much of his time and talent. So anyway, I'm so happy you joined us to talk a little bit about this year's AIFD Symposium, Reflections, which will be held in Palm Springs in just, a month from now, guys. Woo, we'll be there.
Yep.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah, we're excited. We're excited to have both of you. And I feel like we've been seeing the Reflections logo for the past year now. It's been everywhere, at least on my social media. So kudos to whoever's doing your marketing, because you've been doing a fabulous job spreading your Reflections social progress on social media. So I've got a couple of questions. I am the only one here that's not AIFD, but I'm super curious because I do feel like I'm kind of in the presence of greatness here. You guys, between the 3 of you, incredible. But I want to start with a couple of just curious questions. Do you remember your first symposium, like attending your very first one, and how you felt? Like, were you excited or were you nervous? Were you forced to go? Like, what led you to even attend that? And Frank, I kind of want to start with you.
Sure. Well, thanks to both of you. It's great to be here. My first symposium was in Chicago in 2001, and I didn't really know anybody that was AIFD. I knew one person in my area from Akron, Ohio, because I'm outside of Cleveland, who was just going to be inducted at that symposium. And his name was Brian Wenmouth. Didn't really know him that well, but he was there. So I had just talked a little bit to Deborah De La Flor, who gave a program in Cleveland. She was doing her Florissage book promotion and gave a great program. And I talked to her, and she was just so inspirational, and she was really pushing. She said, you need to go. And so I went, and it was in Chicago. And Chicago is such a nice, beautiful, big city. And you've got all these buildings with all this architecture. And it was called Milestones, and it was chaired by George Mitchell. And I think Derek Vasquez was the president at the time. And it just, blew my mind. It just was incredible. And so that was it. I drank the Kool-Aid. It was amazing.
Yeah. Wow. And did you go by yourself?
I did. Yeah, I went by myself. And I used to go to Gift Mart in Chicago sometimes as frequently as I could, and I would take a flight in the morning. We had inexpensive flights. I'd go to the Chicago Gift Mart and then fly back. So I was really used to going to Chicago pretty
Yeah.
frequently. But yeah, so I went by myself, and it was just amazing. So, and I have gone to every symposium ever since. So,
Wow. That's incredible.
Wow.
I love that. All right, Lori, what about you?
Okay, well, we have to dial it back a few more years. So 1987 was the first symposium I went to in San Francisco, and I did go with friends. I have some friends that we became members together, but actually it was Derek Vasquez that encouraged me to go. And after that, it was just continual every single year. I've only missed twice since 1987. One, because I had just had a baby and I couldn't leave my 3-month-old baby behind and couldn't bring her with me. It was, going to be too much. Boston. And then, unfortunately, when we were in Las Vegas this last time, I was not able to go for personal reasons. My aunt was sick with dementia. So, anyway, but other than that, I've been every year. I became very involved from the very beginning. I became a member in 1989. And so, yeah. So,
Wow.
I did not realize that. We went to the first symposium the same year.
really?
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
87 in San Francisco, and I
Yeah.
was inducted in 89.
Okay.
That's
So,
great.
yeah. So you remember Ron Morgan, right? In
Oh,
his
God,
kimono,
yes. Oh,
right?
his kimonos on and off, and we're like, "Oh my God, this is so
Right?
crazy."
Yeah.
So what
It
was that? Was that a main stage
yes,
presentation or what?
yes. And Ron was not a member, I don't think, at the time.
I
I don't think he ever was a member, but he was very, very out there in the industry and, wrote a lot of books and that sort of thing. But when I say he was out there, he was out there. He was just amazing, but he would add a little bit of his flair to it, which were
Mhm.
changing his kimonos every time he would do a different design. And, it was just one of those things after seeing that, I was like, oh my gosh, this is just absolutely unbelievable, and just the level of design. I had been a florist for a few years in my family business, but nothing like this. Every year it became something that I had to go to just because I wanted to be able to see everything that everybody was doing and be able to adapt it to what I could do. And it just made me, I think, a better designer, a better person, better everything.
Right. I know you've been to so many. It's probably really hard to narrow this down, but do you have like one or two main stage presentations that really stand out? Maybe not just like, oh, the design was so amazing, but just something that really, really impacted you that you will never forget.
Gosh, Lori, there's so many. There
Many.
really is.
I mean,
It's
that's
hard.
tough
That is a
Yeah.
tough question. It
because
really
there's a
is.
lot.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of programs that I just have walked away with so much knowledge, right, Frank? I mean,
Right.
Vonda's shaking her head. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's really hard to, but I do feel like Symposium over the years has definitely evolved into a bigger production than our earlier years. I mean, we still always had the stage. And I think that's the part that's interesting to me because some of the international designers, you look at them and they've been World Cup people and all that sort of thing. They've been in all these competitions, they've designed all over the world. But when they get to AIFD, they are really impressed with who we are. They really are. I've had people that I was shocked that they said things like, I've never been on a stage like this. I've never had something like this. And so they're very impressed with what we do. And we work really hard as making it a very professional, presentation for them. And so it's a long process to get everything that we need from them. But I feel like that we have grown so much to bring those really professional programs to the stage.
Yeah.
I think it's a balance of the really professional programs and now so much education that you really have attending symposium, you get that, oh my God thing, right? It's
Yeah.
like, I've never seen a production like this before, but also I can take a class from these people, or I can really interact and learn so much what I've learned on stage, but I can actually do a hands-on, or I can sit in a lecture. The difference from when we started, right, way back then, was like, it was the production, but not at this level, but it wasn't so much hands-on. It wasn't the opportunities for so much education like we do now. I mean, it is packed. When I look at this year again, it's like, oh my gosh, you guys, there's so much going on.
Yeah, we've definitely evolved on the education side of it, because we didn't used to have a lot of the hands-on workshops, the lectures. Now we have our student chapters, we have FFA. So we're going to all different levels, trying to continue that education through the industry and bringing those new people into the fold, whether they want accreditation. I know that the FFA program, we're trying to grow that. There were a lot of instructors that reached out to me in California. So we are expanding that this year with the FFA group, because they are looking for things like education, certification, all of the things that AIFD can provide for them. So they're all very excited to be able to be included this year. And I'm excited.
Yeah.
So.
And we ask a lot of the main stage designers, the workshop instructors, of people giving lectures. Over the years it's involved, I mean, we've got this very elaborate production that we are constantly working on making better and better as the technology changes. We ask for extensive procurement lists and information pages and that sort of thing. And it's a lot to get all of that from the designers, but they're willing to do it. And I think it gives everybody attending a lot of resources and a lot of ways that they can utilize AIFD, whether it's just from the wow factor, if you just want to go there real superficially, or you can go really deep as far as the design techniques and theory and that sort of thing, to educational experiences. I mean, there's pretty much a niche for everybody.
Yeah.
It goes back to that saying, you get out of it what you put into it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can make that choice. You can just sit there and just take it all in and enjoy and take some note, or you can just jump right in and learn so much and go back and your head's exploding because there's so much you can take in.
I 100% agree. I think any florist, any employee at any level, even if you don't want to be a full-time designer, I think I've been to 4 AIFDs. The very first one, was that yours, Vonda? Where did you do your mainstay? Was that DC?
It was DC. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Here's from an outsider's point. I was even telling a flower shop this week who was talking about maybe sending her employees, a couple of her employees who have never been to anything. And I suggested AIFD, which usually I will talk about SAF convention, which I'm all supportive of that too. But here's my reasoning. Number one, I do think you guys have done a fabulous job of integrating more, like you were talking about, sessions, hands-on sessions, or even business classes, integrating that. What I think is so cool is your main stage presentations and classes, even though some of the stuff is a little out there, the design, I always think of it as if I was to be able to go to New York City Fashion Week, right? And get completely inspired with all of the cool runway things, but then come back and maybe shop at the Gap and try to decide, okay, I saw something similar to that, but I'm going to wear basic Gap. You know what I mean? That's how creativity works in a real life florist situation. And that's part of the wonderful thing about AIFD. You go and you get inspired by color and technique and design. And oh my gosh, that's how they turned that into this. And then you go back to your shop and go, how can I use that and sell it in my store for $125 instead of making it and it's going to cost me $500 because I can't sell that here.
Right. To adapt it and to really come in.
Yeah. And so I'm like, if I can do that, I think any person that works at a flower shop would benefit from that. So
absolutely. And I think somehow in our schedule, we try to do it so that they can't come for the entire time, that they could come for a couple days, or they can, pick and choose what they can do as far as being there. But then, also just being in the excitement of seeing the main stages, seeing the workshops that are going on, even just seeing the people that come out of the workshops walking around with what they've created and that sort of thing, I think just kind of sends the buzz to people. And I agree, as a regular brick and mortar flower shop, when I started going to AIFD, sure, there were many things that I couldn't use in my flower shop, but could I use the inspiration? Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every day. Yeah. It used to fuel me for the whole next year. And I think that's what a lot of people don't realize is that it's not a one and done. I mean, those ideas and things you're bringing home, you might think of them at Christmas time again or again next spring. And it's just the fuel that keeps you going. I mean, it's like crazy.
Here's my idea for you guys, Vonda. I haven't even told you this.
Uh-oh.
You should sell tickets. Hear me out. Hear me out. To the flower room. Now listen to me. Listen to me. It's unbelievable. If you did like brown paper walkway with rope around all of the people working and people got to pay a ticket, they weren't allowed to talk to them, but walk around and witness how they work and create. And it's amazing in there. And again, I don't know how to do things, but it was so inspiring. It's phenomenal to watch. It's such an art. I mean, just the way they interact with what they're doing, you could make additional money and all the proceeds could go to Seizure of philanthropy or agriculture or whatever, but you should do tours in that room.
Well, you just never know, Lori.
Well,
you just never know. Well, I would go back a minute and ask, where did the theme reflections come from?
Well, Frank, I'll let you handle that.
But Lori and I were kind of brainstorming about the name. We're like, we have to come up with a name. You know how that goes. You're under pressure, and so we thought about it, and then we have our anniversary on this particular symposium, and so we thought, well, and actually the name is Reflection. We thought about reflections, but we ended up reflection as without the S. And actually, I think it would have worked well both ways, but we thought reflection, looking back at those years that AIFD has been in existence. And we thought, well, Palm Springs with the water and the palm trees, and we thought about the reflection. And so it just kind of fit.
Yeah.
So that's what we came up with that. And it just works with the anniversary. So
yeah, no, that's great. And thank you for pointing out there's no S because my mind put an S on it.
Yeah, and that's a lot of people are. And you know what? It's fine either way. But we didn't put an S on it. We thought about which way we should go on that, but we had to go one or the other. So
yeah, I see it being posted in all different ways. And for me, I don't really care as long as you're posting things.
Exactly.
As long as you're posting and signing up.
As long as we're getting everybody excited about coming, that's all that matters to me. And and we are reflecting upon the 60th year of AIFD this year. So, and we are starting that with our opening program with Jacob McCall. It is a little bit of everything. Some of it is about his own personal journey, he has a very great story, which I will let you see that on the stage as to how he has evolved as a floral designer. And he is sharing that along with the friends that he's made along the way, because we always refer to ourselves or our flower family, our AIFD family and stuff like that. And it really does become that at some point. We really want people to just continue to build on and become part of our family. So
yeah, that's great. So let's break it down into bite-sized pieces for people to understand. Somebody who has never attended AIFD Symposium, and I think we've covered this pretty well, but there's different choices. The main stage program we're talking about, that's the WOW, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many main stage programs?
So we have 10 main stage programs, 8 workshops, including 2 master classes, and we have 6 lectures. And that does not even count our spotlight stage that we're also having in between sessions to have our partners be able to promote themselves as well. So, yeah, so
Wow.
it's pretty
Wow.
exciting. A lot. There's a lot going on.
A lot going on. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about your headliners. Anything you want to share specifically?
Well, I mean, we do have 5 international designers coming from all over the world. And then we have some of our members that are doing programs. One of our programs also is highlighting that we call them the Windows team because that's what their program is about. And they are 3 inductees from last year that are doing a program, which we were excited when they submitted. So
Yeah.
it was like just jump in the water. So, and that's kind of what they did. And it was very impressive. The process obviously is that we put out a call for programs for people and they submit. Some of the programs we solicited the designers because we wanted to be able to recreate some of the things that we have seen in the past and expand on that. One of those being our Hawaiian group. Our Hawaiian group is coming back and being able to share all the beautiful things in Hawaii because Hawaii has supported us so many years. And then the workshop's the same thing. We're working with all the different designers doing something with their sponsors. And then the lectures, we have some exciting lectures. We have Renee Dallo, who is a professional wedding planner that's going to touch on a few things. We have Corey. Corey's doing his Corey Live, make some noise. So he's making some noise. He's going to share with us some ideas about how to promote yourself, how to make things your way. And then all the other lectures, we have that flower feeling, Cal Flowers, all of those that are sharing information, really great information.
And it was a fine sort of balancing act when we were discussing who we were going to bring in and who we were going to feature. We tried to get a balance of new talent as well as some of the talent that it had done an outstanding job for AIFD, in the past, and AIFD members as well as some people that are from areas in the world that they're not AIFD, but they have a big AIFD presence. So that was a kind of a balancing act that you need to do depending on who it is wants to come in and do a program and who we would potentially ask. So we work through that and we think we've got a really good representation there, a good balance of people that have programs that are going to be unique and different. And so we're excited.
That is the challenge. I mean, as you know, next year, Randy Wooten and I are doing your jobs. And that is the hardest part, I think, Frank and Lori, is finding that balance. And you don't want everybody to be on one subject because you want all of the attendees to have this real well-rounded opportunity in front of them. And when I look at this schedule at a glance specifically, I just see, wow, it's just so well-rounded. And you can just sit there and just take it all in and have it so much to walk away with. That's for sure. Now, one thing I wanted to talk about, and you probably haven't talked about these on your other interviews, and then that's the elephant in the room is the cost. Because everybody goes, I can't go to AIFD Symposium, it's so expensive. And what I would like to challenge everybody on is I see, and I'm sure you guys do as well, the classes that are out there that are one-day classes, and you're going to learn to do this, and it's going to be $2,500 or whatever the case is. Oh my gosh, this value for AIFD Symposium is so amazing because what you get for this cost is how many designers, what we were just talking about. So what I did, I put some numbers to it. So like if we're looking at full registration for a non-member, it's $1,574, right?
Right.
Let's call it $1,600. And that includes the gala and the awards, 2 galas. So that's 2 big parties and food. Okay. Now then I'm going to drive in and I'm going to stay at the hotel for $216 a night, everything in, and $14 a night because I have to pay for my parking. That's about $1,700 for 4 days. Me staying there, having all of this information, it's $3,400.
Right.
You guys, that is a bargain as far as education comes. I mean, then you can, of course, add on some of the hands-on classes at a real discounted rate because you're already there.
Right.
And I don't think people realize how much they get out of that. Their return on investment is fabulous. I don't know. I'm dumbfounded sometimes when people say, oh, no, I can't do that.
That's why I love you, Vonda. You're the numbers lady, and I love that about you. So it does kind of bring it forward to make people aware of the fact that, yes, I mean, you're not going to get this amount of education in a one-day class if you're going to spend $2,500 to $3,500 on something. And it's not to discount what those classes are, but we are providing so much for the amount of money. And again, if you're not able to attend for the entire time, we break it down. You can buy a 1-day pass, you can buy a 2-day pass, you can, do that sort of thing. And so we're just trying to give everybody as many options as possible. So again, on that note, the price does increase again on July 1st. So if people are interested, I encourage you to do that. Our room block as well. Now I sound like a commercial, but our room block room block is expiring on the 15th of this month. So, it's something that people should really make sure that they get their room so they're not having to pay a higher price. I see a lot of things on social media, people asking each other for a roommate to share a room and that sort of thing. That seems to be going really well. Again, I'm available anytime. If anybody has any questions, if they're not a member, they can send a message to the info@aifd.org and it will come to me to be able to assist anybody if they're interested or have any questions. You could put my phone number on there too for that
Oh,
matter.
boy, just what you need. All those phone calls. I don't
I
know.
will take their calls. I mean, I might have to do it in an order, but I will take the calls because that's what I'm about. I really want people to come and be excited and experience this because I think it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, so it's like $400 for a 1-day pass, I think I see, right?
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
you could go 1 day and then you could add on a
A workshop.
$200 class or, there's all different classes. So you could just really, if you are on a limited budget, drive in or fly in for a day and do a day or two, if you
I mean,
can't.
we have hands-on classes that are $79. I mean, like, where are you going to get a hands-on class where you're getting all of your materials, all the education, and being able to work with that designer for 2 hours and get that to take back to your flower shop? So,
Yeah.
We have a couple of workshops that are scheduled in the evening as well. So gives you a little flexibility there. You can do a couple different things and in one day and get a really rounded experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple of things I want to point out. I think, and I could be wrong, but I think all three of you, when you mentioned your first time attending, you all went by yourself. Like you didn't go with the group. So I hear that over and over, people kind of hesitating, like, I don't want to go by myself and I can't afford to take my employees. Do not fear. Like, don't be afraid.
Lori, I went from the middle of Iowa to San
Right.
Francisco all by myself, scared to death.
Exactly.
Yes.
Do it scared, right? I mean, we've talked about that on the
Never
podcast.
forget it. Yep.
And people
Do it.
that attend AIFD Symposium, whether they're AIFD or not, whether they're aspiring to become AIFD, they're all really friendly. And so you meet the people the first time that you're sitting next to, that you're walking by, and you still many years later see those people and you remember that and you have that in common. So absolutely, that's a really good advice there, that don't hesitate just because you're not with a group of people, because you don't need that group of people.
You don't need it because you guys have your flower family
Mhm.
that you look for every time you go back. Those are your people. And that started the first time you ever went.
And that, like Vonda said, we've evolved over the years on the education part, but I feel like we've also evolved on the leadership part of making sure that we recognize the first timers, that when you fill out your registration form, it asks if you've ever been to Symposium. That way we can capture those people and invite them to a first timers reception to let them kind of, have a friendly face if they're feeling like they are alone or whatever, or they don't have anyone to sit with for the dinner. They get to meet some people and we can all network together and make people feel welcome and have that good experience that they will take back to another person and say, hey, you have to go. This was such a great experience. I want you to experience it too. You know?
Exactly. That's what it's all all about. And I love that you broke this out too, Vonda. But I mean, I would just say as many videos and Zoom meetings and YouTube videos as I have watched, nothing is more instrumental to me than face-to-face education.
Mhm.
Nothing. It is priceless to be able to sit next to other humans and hear real live humans in front of me teaching and back and forth discussion and laughter and joy and creativity just flying everywhere. I mean, there's nothing like it. And it's just, if you've never attended something like that, just give it a try. Give it a try.
Yeah.
I've never heard anyone leave and go, that sucked. I don't ever want to go do something like that again.
Right.
You know?
No, and you'll have to come see Flower Click at the expo, because if you register now, I'm going to put this out there, because then I will know that you heard this on the podcast.
At the partners table, isn't it?
At the partners table. And Lori, you're going to have to keep track of this, or Susie will. 10 people who register from now until the 1st of July, come up to me the table. I'm going to give you a $100 bill.
Oh, okay. They have to have a buzzword. They need a code word.
Okay. You tell me, Lori. You tell me.
It's going to be Frank.
Okay.
Frank. The password is Frank.
Okay. Got it. That's what it'll be.
Frank.
All right.
And I'm not going to be there. I'm going to be in Ireland.
Well, Ellie will be there. She'll help me.
Yes, she will help you.
The two of us. So register. You guys will never regret it. And I would love to see some first timers at the symposium. So any last words, Frank or Lori?
No, we'll just see you in Palm Springs. Make sure you're ready for the sunny weather of California, because we always bring that in Palm Springs. It's always beautiful there, and we won't talk about it being too hot. So
no, just the beautiful sunshine, because we're going to be inside where it's going to be.
You got air,
more cool.
It's fine. It's fine, and it is always really beautiful out there. So.
And it's a great self-contained location for the symposium, but then you also have Palm Springs right outside the door. So it's a win-win scenario. And so advice, people should sign up for workshops. Like Gretchen Sell is just the person that comes to the top of my mind. She's just this color guru, and chance to spend time with her and just listen to her brain sort of work through her concepts is just amazing. So that would be a great one to sign up for. But there's a lot of them. So.
That's great.
Don't hesitate.
Thank you. Thanks, Frank and Lori, for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Seeing you soon.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much for listening to our podcast. We hope you enjoyed spending time with us, because we enjoy spending time with you. If you did, make sure you hit that subscribe button or add the Business and Pleasure of Flowers to your Google morning routine or your flash briefing on Alexa. We look forward to seeing you next week.
So please come back and join us and discover how a bit of knowledge and one small change in your mindset can take you to new levels in your life and business.